Okay, so yesterday, Clay and I watched Destroy All Monsters, which is the next Godzilla movie. I believe it's number 9, if I'm correct. And I'm going to be honest, this movie rules. I feel like we're kind of now back on track of like, all right, what is my second favorite Godzilla movie? Because again, at this point, the first is still my favorite. I love I don't know if majesty is the right word I want to say when describing Goji, but I just love the aura, I guess. But it's that the power and the terror that you feel, and that it's the sense of dread that builds up the entire movie. And then when you finally get to Godzilla destroying Tokyo, it's a genuine like it's exciting to watch because like yeah, it's a kaiju movie. I want to see good destruction, but it's a horror movie first and foremost, and it does that really well. And you know, like I actually like the human characters a lot. Like Sarazawa's conflict, I find really interesting, etc., etc. To me, nothing has quite topped that. Mothra v Godzilla is a really good time. Three-Headed Monster's a really good time. Astro Monster's a really good time. And Destroy All Monsters is that everyone is here, you know, except Kong and, well, Ibira's not in it either. And there's also some other characters we haven't seen before. Like, I don't remember his name. It was like something Asaurus. And there's Monda, who's this like Chinese dragon eel snake thing who, I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of really liked Monda. There's this one scene when I think it's Godzilla, Rodan, and Monda are attacking Tokyo, and Monda goes on like a railroad and starts like slithering around it, and I'm just thinking, dude, is this thing gonna like snake around the railroad, open its mouth, and then a train is gonna go just straight into its gullet? That sounds so cool. It didn't quite happen. Instead, he like coils around it and then he breaks the thing, but it was still cool to watch. And then, you know, you've got like every gun and cannon in Tokyo firing at him, or like at Godzilla specifically. It reminded me of in Madoka Magica when Homura is fighting Valpurgisnacht, and then she's just like, all right, I got all these guns, these explosives. It was very similar to that in scale and was kind of about as effective as well. Um, what are some of the other like scenes I really enjoyed from the movie without getting into the climax? There's a scene when Goji and what is his name? It's like Angrius, the Ankylosaurus guy. It's Angrius. It's something close to that. I'm just gonna call him Angrius. um, like the humans are attacking them, and so you just get to see the two of them like destroy a bunch of tanks. Like the main human characters appear in a spaceship. Godzilla hits the spaceship straight up with his atomic breath, and the ship tanks the atomic breath. They're like, okay, we're making progress. And then like Angrius shows up and they're like, oh shit, now there's two of them. We're kind of not making our progress. We gotta escape. And then Rodan shows up and starts chasing them. Like, how are we gonna escape Rodan? We have to go to space. So they're like going into space because Rodan can't go that far. And I don't know, I thought that was super fun. The score in the movie is really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Or I enjoyed the human characters in this movie, like their constant struggle. It's very similar to Astro Monster. The monsters are getting controlled, they're attacking us, and then there's these aliens that are in control, except instead of the Zillions, it's the, like, was it like the Kirans? They're like the Kilans. To me, they were just less cool Zillions, especially when you find out their true forms, like, oh, they're just, like, little worm dudes. Okay. They didn't, I mean, I guess they're about as threatening as the Zillions, because, I mean, both of them are controlling the kaiju. These guys are controlling more kaiju, which I guess would make them more threatening, but I don't know, I think for me the difference is these guys are just really condescending, which just makes them very punchable. The Zillions are super condescending, but there's also this genuine sense of menace and malice to them, which makes them far more hateable, which made me like them a lot more, you know, interestingly enough. I was like, no, I really liked them as villains. I believe they're also the villains in Final Wars, which, like, I'm looking forward to that. These guys, like, they're just the less cool versions of the Zillions. Although when they're finally defeated, when Godzilla just like raises their base inside Mount Fuji, that was really cool. I like that a lot. Mothra doesn't really do much, especially because Mothra is just like in her larva form throughout the movie. I was kind of disappointed by that. I was hoping we get to like Mothra, but it is what it is. Oh, I was like, what the fuck does that say? There is a scene early in the movie where, like, okay, all the kaiju, except, like, like, they live on Monster Island, and we've got this stuff on the island that, like, keeps them from going crazy. And there's a point where Godzilla's trying to also, this movie has a new Godzilla suit that looks really good. He's going to the water, and then it's, reacting to it. And I just see Godzilla throw a tantrum. Like, he throws his hands up, he just, like, turns around and angrily kicks at the water and splashes something. It was really funny to watch. Like, Godzilla acting like a giant child is just always really funny to me. Yeah, the scene where they fuck up Tokyo. Godzilla goes and attacks New York. Unfortunately, it won't be the last time we see Godzilla attack New York, but I was like, huh. That's interesting. I didn't know it happened twice. I talked about that. So at this point, I think I just have to talk about the climax. It is the whole squad and Kumonga, who hadn't been in the entire movie. Also, Manila was barely in the movie, but he was in this scene too. The whole squad rolls up to Mount Fuji to attack the base, and that's when Ghidorah shows up. So everyone is fighting this dude. You've got Angrius just like biting one of his heads, nearly rips it off. Like there's actually blood. Ghidorah just flies, and then Angrius falls. It was really fun to watch. There's a part where Rodan, he like makes a tornado, realizes he's not doing much, is like, I'm done, and just fucking leaves. Mothra and Kumonga don't do a whole lot, but there's a point when Ghidorah is on the ground where they just, spew him with string shot. Angrius had no chill. He just kept running. He just kept attacking. Even when he wasn't doing a whole lot at some points, I'm like, you know what? I thought he was kind of lame in Godzilla Raids again, but he was still felt like he was almost kind of like the joke member of the group, aside from Manila. But he was pulling his weight. Like, I don't know. Like, I got a lot of comedic moments out of him, but I still, like, I feel like I respect him a lot more after this. Godzilla just, like, grabs Ghidorah, who's trying to fly, and he pulls him down, kidney punches him several times, just starts stomping on one of Ghidorah's heads. Angrius is biting the other one. Manila and his atomic smoke ring. It's like the most perfect game of horseshoe where he shoots it and it goes right around the main one's neck and then just like fucking kills him. I'm sorry, like just watching Ghidorah get absolutely wrecked and curb stomped is really funny. But yeah, and then it's like right after that, the Kila or whatever the fuck they are like saying some shit, trying to be cocky. It's like, yeah, well, you'll never get into our base. And then Godzilla just races it. Well, it was really fun. Final Wars was a blast. I don't think I quite liked it as much as Astro Monster, because I really, really liked Astro Monster. I also don't know if I liked it quite as much as Three-Headed Monster. Like, as fun as it is watching Ghidorah get his ass beat, it's also really satisfying, like, having to watch them. It's fun watching Ghidorah be a threat. Because, like, not as much here. Also, I don't know if this is good or bad, but Godzilla didn't use a signature move in this movie. He used the atomic breath, but his signature move in the last few movies has really just been picking up rocks and throwing them. There were no rock throws in this movie, so maybe Godzilla has gotten over that habit. I don't know. We'll see. I'm sorry, like, the Direct was yesterday and Echoes of Wisdom, so I keep seeing memes about like Zelda throwing rocks and hitting people with a chair, and I'm like, yeah, that's what Godzilla's been doing lately. Final Wars, excuse me, not Final War. I mean, I have seen Final Wars and I really liked it, but that doesn't count yet. Destroy All Monsters was really good. It was a lot of fun. All Monsters Attack is next, and from what I understand, it's the worst one. You know, it sounds like reasonable minds may differ, but it's generally considered a bottom 5 movie. I'm not looking forward to it, but I am kind of looking forward to just going ahead and getting it over with.